Hey guys, and welcome to the Working Money Channel. Ellie has sources. This coming from Crypto Eddie here on Twitter. So what do you think, Pampers or Huggies? Eleanor Turret from Fox Business has now disclosed that there is no truth to the December 15th settlement rumor for the Ripple SEC lawsuit. She says this right here in this tweet. Our sources close to the case say there's no truth to the December 15th rumor, as they did with the November 15th rumor. So sources close to Fox Business have now, said that the rumor has been debunked. Procoin News here originally tweeting this, a very bizarre thing for a journalist to tweet. Not true is very different from and not equal to unconfirmed. Nevertheless, Eleanor Turret has come out and clarified that statement, and feeling confident as well to, come out and say it and state it as fact. Gary Gangster down here saying, the question here is, would your source confirm it if it was true? Probably is not going to happen, but the point is no one would confirm it. Yeah, it is true. We are settling on December the 15th. So there's another opinion there. However, I think that, it's likely Eleanor Turret has very close connections to the Ripple team, insiders surrounding the case, and, considering after we heard that news from Charles Hoskinson yesterday, everybody was wondering whether this was going to happen or not. It's probably good that now we can say from a confirmed source that the rumors are not true. So no settlement this year, this coming from Judah. That's not necessarily the case. He posted this. Okay, so the proposed order for all non-party motions to seal parties' motions for summary judgment and related materials. Just to reiterate, guys, here are some deadlines. It is hereby ordered that any non-parties must file by January the 4th, 2023, a motion to seal any summary judgment materials to the extent the non-party seeks additional or different sealing treatments or redactions than requested by the parties, and by January the 18th, all parties and non-parties must file oppositions, if any, to the non-party motion to seal. If no such motion is received by January the 4th, the non-party will have waived their right to subject to the court's ultimate ruling on the party's motions to seal or redact the summary judgment materials. So those are the latest deadlines in the case, but, a settlement can technically still happen at any moment in time. I've got the XRP chart up here right now, and, as I've been reporting over the last few days, we haven't really seen too much movement in the space. The entire cryptocurrency market is trading on low volume right now. XRP trading at 37.3, so down a little bit from yesterday, but, still vacillating in this narrow zone over here. Same thing is happening for the king cryptocurrency, Bitcoin. We've got Bitcoin not really moving too much, just under $17,000 right now as of the time of this recording. Trading right now at $16,983. So not too much movement for Bitcoin either. The crypto market really just has to recuperate after we were affected by that big FTX slump. So more demand needs to come into the crypto space. There needs to be more buying interest. And, it's unfortunate right now. People just are not interested in buying cryptocurrency in large quantities. Although I do not doubt for a second that the big financial institutions and, the big money gurus, they're all getting in at these cheap prices. David Ingles here posting this. Okay, insane amount of central bank decisions are going to be happening this week. We're making a graphic for shows, and then he's asking which title should we use here. But guys, just to give you a sense of who is on the docket for making decisions today, here's a list of some abbreviations for some countries: the UK, Mexico, the United States. I know this one's the Philippines down here. I guess we've got Russia down here as well, just to name a couple off the top of my head. Here's a quick clip from Bloomberg News describing a little bit of what we are to expect to see this week from central banks.
Banks are holding policy meetings this week. We're watching the Fed on Wednesday and whether it will slow the pace of rate hikes. We're expecting weaker U.S. inflation readings on Tuesday. The ECB also expected to ease its pace of hikes on Thursday. EM central banks continue their move higher too on Thursday. Mexico and the Philippines expected to increase their key rates by 50 basis points, while Colombia on Friday may raise by 100 basis points, all of them battling high inflation and inflation expectations. But one central bank bucking the move higher is, of course, China's. The PBOC will probably keep its one-year policy rate on hold. The country's November data won't look good. Industrial production and investment expected to slow, while retail sales could fall faster.
So there you have it in a 45-second nutshell. Some banks here, the U.S., Europe, UK, Mexico, Colombia, China, the Philippines, Taiwan, and more, all on the docket to make some important decisions with regards to rates this week. And people are feeling it, not just in the United States, but all over the world. And people are feeling the pressure. Not only that, guys, I don't know if you've noticed this, but mainstream media outlets now are more apt to discuss what's happening in the world and now tying it in to the World Economic Forum specifically. I remember 2 years ago, you would never hear of the World Economic Forum on mainstream news. But guys, we're seeing it more and more. The truth is coming out. World Economic Forum calls for an end to private car ownership. So this courtesy of Fox Business. Listen to this.
The World Economic Forum is now looking to reduce ownership of private vehicles. Yes, the forum claiming that this is a way to reduce global reliance on critical metals like cobalt and lithium as they make a push toward green energy. Deegan, give up your car, why don't you?
Yeah, the World Economic Forum sponsors that little get-together, that boondoggle in Davos every year. Why do major private CEOs even go to that thing? If these are the policies that the World Economic Forum are espousing, they're essentially saying, trying to take away your free will. Oh, you can't drive a car. And again, trying to apply the ideas out of Europe onto the United States. Europe has a lot of mass transit. It's a very small continent. And North America, not so much. So stick that idea where the sun doesn't shine.
Well, I have gone to Davos for 20 years for the World Economic Forum, and it's always been an incredible opportunity to hobnob with the leaders of the world. It is incredibly well attended every year. So for some reason, everybody's getting together globally. It has been the place that all of these people meet every year. You're right. Leo, your thoughts on the ideas of going green and taking away your private vehicle?
Well, obviously, when we think about the history of motor vehicles, cars, and other transportation, it has lifted millions, hundreds of millions of people out of poverty and has changed the dynamic of how we all live and the quality of our lives. So yes, while we all want a clean economy and we want a climate that is sustainable, the reality is that a collapsing economy isn't the answer. So there has to be a balance, and unfortunately, in today's bifurcated world, we get a little bit too much extremism. So hopefully we can bring some sense back into it.
Yeah, by the way, those CEOs that go to Davos, many of them, they go on their own private jet.
So there you have it from Fox Business. Critical much? I guess the point I'm trying to make here is that, like I said, I've been doing this channel now for 4 years. And, I have not seen the media come out, lash back at the World Economic Forum until just recently. So I wanted to thank Wittgenstein here for posting that. Another one here from Bernie's tweets. This one coming out of Australia. Social credit introduced to access the internet via your digital ID. So again, the ideology espoused from the World Economic Forum. This is from an Australian media outlet. Listen to this.
A radical plan to crack down on social media abuse is being considered by the federal government. For more, Nine's Oliver Haig joins us live in Adelaide. Ollie, how will it work?
Layla, good morning. Essentially, it will work the same as a passport. Australians forced to submit 100 points of identification, like their driver's licence or passport, when using social media accounts like Facebook and Twitter. Now, police would have access to those social media accounts, and it's all part of a crackdown on online abuse. Now, users could be liable for defamation suits or even criminal prosecution, and it's all part of a plan hoping to deter people from engaging in bad behaviour. Now, the recommendations were handed down by a federal parliamentary inquiry. They're reforms that are being considered by the Morrison government, with the chairman saying there is merit to remove the veil of being anonymous. Layla?
So, this is happening in Australia, but don't think for a second that it cannot happen in the country you reside in if you do not live in Australia. Citizens need 100 points of identification to use social media, and the police will have access to your accounts. Goodbye, freedom. Hello, tyranny. All part and parcel, guys, to what we're seeing in this move for a great reset financially and socially. Michael Branch posting this. Okay, this coming just from the Bank of England recently. So the Bank of England opens bids for CBDC sample wallet proof of concept. They're moving forward with this, guys. The Bank of England is seeking a proof of concept for a sample wallet for a central bank digital currency, and it will take applications through until December 23rd. Well, the bank said it will not develop a user wallet itself. It wants to explore the end-to-end user journey as a way to sharpen functional requirements for both the bank and private sector and make the CBDC product more tangible for internal and external stakeholders. Key deliverables include wallet mobile app for both Android and iOS, a wallet website, an example merchant website, and a back-end server. So just naming a few of the criteria there that they're looking at for a CBDC user-facing wallet. And I mean, we're smart enough now to understand that a central bank digital currency can be one of two things. I mean, a government can basically say, okay, we just want to streamline the process. We want to get onto a digital system, and they can make it completely open for you and I to transact freely. On the other hand, though, there is the capability, and there's always going to be the capability for governments to, tweak these central bank digital currencies so that they can have more control over us, deciding where we spend our money, when we spend our money, and on what we spend our money, kind of like what is happening in China. China reveals digital yuan with expiry dates where people are forced to spend and not allowed to save. So guys, this is all coming out right now. I mean, we've talked about it theoretically in the past, but this is all now happening, and it has been happening in China for a while. But here's where China's at right now. China's experimenting with digital money with an expiration date, meaning that citizens will be forced to spend and not save. So think of that. If you're a saver and you think to yourself, well, I need money for my future because I want to have X, Y, and Z. No, you're not going to be able to do that. The digital yuan could usher in an era of total population control, as people who aren't allowed to save money will be more dependent on the government. And that is exactly where they want us. Go me down here posting this. Okay, when a movie becomes reality. Now, I've never seen this movie starring Amanda Seyfried and Justin Timberlake, In Time. Maybe I'll watch it. I don't know if you guys have seen this film. Snubfighter down here saying, nice catch. I see the parallels like consumption vouchers. Just talking about those CBDCs that have expiry dates. The crazy thing, though, and I mean, if you just think about this from a sane Westerner's perspective, the amount of control that they want to have over us, astounding. I mean, no matter what side of the political spectrum you lean towards, this is an unimaginable reality that could be coming to a Western country near you. So I saw that as well. Meanwhile, we've got Brics nations working together to develop their very own financial infrastructure. And I talked about this concept on this channel a little bit in the past, but now we're seeing some more up-to-date information with regards to this. Okay, so James Earl XRP posting this. Okay, so now Egypt has joined the new Brics Development Bank. Here we go. On Wednesday, Egypt ratified its participation in the new development bank, or the NDB, which was created by the BRICS countries. Originally, the BRICS countries were Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. BRICS. In 2014, Egyptian President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi's cabinet ratified the agreement, establishing the NDB and Egypt's accession document to that institution, which began operating in 2015 in Shanghai. From there, the NDB financed infrastructure and sustainable development projects in areas such as energy, transportation, water, communications, and health. And here's a quote. Since 2016, the bank has invested in multiple projects, including $7.2 billion in India alone. Brics is working to develop its own financial infrastructure, this is another quote, including a joint payment network, with some member states having already switched to trade in local currencies in order to reduce dependence on the US dollar and the euro. So, some are saying this is going to be the beginning of the end. If other countries do not need to hold US dollars, well, US dollar dominance obviously will not be dominant and it will collapse. Let's take a look at the DXY real quickly now. We can even see now on the daily US dollar dominance has come down quite a bit, and it's holding right now at this level of support. But, who knows what 2023 will bring. And to give you guys a little bit of context with regards to BRICS, they are growing. More member countries want to join the BRICS nations. So here's just an article that I saw from last month, the new candidate countries for BRICS expansions. And you guys can see just down here from the map, Nicaragua, Senegal, Algeria, Nigeria, Argentina, Egypt, as we'd mentioned in that last article, Saudi Arabia, Iran, Afghanistan, Kazakhstan, the United Arab Emirates, and Indonesia. So these are just some proposed BRICS member countries that want to join the association. Notice here too, these oil-rich countries that want to join the BRICS association. This is going to have a dramatic impact on how oil is bought and sold. And again, they're moving towards a gold standard, getting off a single standard, namely the US dollar, moving towards gold, which, guys, of course, brings us to digital currencies, how we're going to transact. XRP being central to a global reset, reframing the financial system, not because we want to, but, at the end of the day, Here's a great example of where we will have to run on that agnostic cryptocurrency, namely XRP, in order for certain transactions to be fulfilled. So I also saw this, guys, from Futch on Twitter. 13 OPEC countries, west to east, Great Reset, CBDCs. Sounds very familiar. Now, this is Andy Schechtman here, an interview he did with Black Swan Capital. So I got to give credit to Black Swan Capital on this interview. I'm just going to play a little bit of the intro just to give you guys a bit of detail on Andy Schechtman's background.
Who am I? Just a guy who started a company with his dad 33 years ago. This February will be actually 34 years. And we're primarily a precious metals business, and we've recently eclipsed $8 billion in transactions. We're very proud about our reputation in what is a federally non-regulated industry. We've never had a customer complaint. We're A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau. We're one of only 27 companies in the world that has ever been approved by the United States Mint as an authorized reseller. We have several worldwide exclusives with Brics in terms of our storage program in North America, which I truly do believe is the finest in the industry, hands down. And even though I live in Florida, where I moved a year and a half ago, where we've had a satellite office for 12 years, I left my corporate office in the state of Minnesota because it's the only state in North America where licensing and bonding is required to transact business. We're held to a higher standard, again, in what is a federally non-regulated industry. So while we believe our reputation is maybe the very best in the industry, our accreditation, both by the United States Mint and the state of Minnesota, sets us apart, I would like to believe, from our competition.
So a little bit there on Andy Schechtman, okay? Prominent figure in the financial services industry for 25 plus years, I think he said 34 years, and has distinguished himself as a reputable speaker on economics, global investing, and foreign currencies, which brings us to this clip here. From that same interview, again, courtesy of Black Swan Capital, listen to Andy Schechtman talking about the OPEC countries, oil suppliers, the BRICS nations, and of course, the Great Reset.
If Saudi Arabia says, thanks for the memories, but we are now joining BRICS with all of our brothers and sisters, and the Belt Road Initiative, all 13 OPEC producing countries are we will only accept the new BRICS currency for oil purchases or other currencies. Bang! Every country on the planet dumps dollars because they don't have to own it anymore, and the selling will be more selling, and the dollar will collapse. When the dollar collapses and comes home here, creating massive inflation, the byproduct of that is the spike in interest rates, which then collapses the three pillars of wealth: stocks, bonds, and real estate. The fourth pillar being the dollar. All four simultaneously collapse in that moment, and so there's your Great Reset. So in the case of the East, it's to attack the Western hegemony. In the case of the West, it's to pull ourselves up, and everyone can then get, stimulus help directly from the Federal Reserve, and whatever it may be, there will be some sort of an event in either instance on either side that will precipitate, I believe, the rolling out of the central bank digital currencies, which will then allow it to gain acceptance rather than pushback from the public, which is why do we need this? It'll be brought in to solve a big problem.
So from Andy Schechtman, he is saying that the Great Reset inevitably will be because of this great struggle. This is how banks are going to be able to implement a CBDC for countries, and we will be begging for it because of all the other turmoil and, the other financial instruments collapsing all at the same time. So again, guys, in the context of a world collapse, a Great Reset being pushed on by oil, there's obviously going to be a need for a new financial system. And I got to keep hammering it home. XRP obviously will be central to this. Ripple has already forged so many partnerships that if and when we do see a Great Reset based on these OPEC countries and their possible collaboration with BRICS nations, the world will be scrambling, and XRP hodlers will be there to get us out of that jam. We're going to be selling, guys, when there is a need, when there is high demand for XRP. That's just my opinion, but I want to hear what you guys think. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Like the video if you like the content I'm providing. I always love hearing your comments. See you in the next one, guys.